Hello everyone, I wanted to do a video today on eyewear for different colouring types and also for different personalities. So I'm going to focus today on on the colouring type that we call soft. And we have an example here, Lizzie, who is one of our dispensing opticians and eyewear stylists at Style Optique. So if we look at Lizzie's colouring, it's very, very mid-toned and blended. So her eyes are very mid-toned, her skin is very mid-toned, and her hair is fairly mid-toned. So Lizzie would look great in mid-toned colours. We'd want to avoid anything too light because that could make her look a little bit washed out, and we'd certainly want to avoid anything that's too dark because that could be quite harsh and severe on someone with Lizzie's colouring. Also, Lizzie would look great in kind of low contrast colour combinations rather than high contrast black and white. So I'm going to show you some examples. First of all, I'm just going to pop these colours on Lizzie. And if you notice, when we pop these colours on Lizzie, I mean, they are very, very beautiful, bright, bold colours. I personally love all of these colours. But what happens when we put them on somebody like Lizzie, who's very soft and blended in her colouring, is all we notice is these bright, bold colours. Your eyes are probably drawn now to these bright, bold tones rather than Lizzie herself. Okay? But if I just soften the colours slightly, so if we give an example of these colours, they're much more softer and blended and more muted tones, your eyes should now be drawn to Lizzie. You should notice her hair, her skin and her eyes. And that's the magic of what happens when we wear colours which work for us. They actually enhance us as people rather than you being drawn to the colour itself. So I want to give you some examples of some eyewear styles that we might choose for Lizzie. Now, one of the things about Lizzie is she is very, very romantic in her style personality. You will often see her come into work with flowers in her hair. She loves florals in her dresses. The dress she's got on today actually is quite florally. Always keeps her hair fairly long, curly, very romantic in her overall look. So we want glasses which work with that and also work for Lizzie's colouring too. So here's a frame I may choose for Lizzie. So it's in very soft, warm colours here. So it's a beautiful salmon pink with a little bit of sort of sagey green, just a touch of colour there. And yeah, pop them on, thank you. Little petal influences, so very romantic and very detailed. So we're going to just pop those on Lizzie. And very soft in colouring, so they don't take any attention away from Lizzie or from her eyes. So I'm going to give you an example of something now that I probably wouldn't do for Lizzie. So again, I chose a frame, very, very similar in style, still a nice soft shape, got a little bit of petals on, but it's a much, much stronger colour. So if I just pop those on, yeah, if you just pop those on Lizzie, thank you. Okay, so what happens when we put this really strong colour on Lizzie is that our eyes are drawn to the frame rather than Lizzie herself. Now, Lizzie is very young. She hasn't really got any wrinkles or fine lines or dark circles under her eyes, but actually what happens as we get a little bit older, and if you have this kind of colour and you get a little bit older and you put on a frame that's this dark, it actually highlights those circles under your eyes and casts shadows on the face, which is why it's much more flattering to stick to those softer, more mid-toned colours. Now, Lizzie is very romantic in her style, but what if she wasn't? What if she was a bit more edgy? What if she needed something a little bit more credible for work? Then I may do something a little bit different. So I may go for a little bit more edgier shape, something a little bit more darker in colour. Again, I wouldn't go too dark because that would be severe, but I might try something like this, something a little bit more edgy, a little bit more credible and stronger in look. But again, I would avoid something so strong as a black, which again, we would lose Lizzie a bit and be much more drawn to the frame. The other thing is with this frame as well, it's a little bit contrasty. It's got white and black, so we'd want to keep everything really, really mid-toned. So let's put Lizzie back in what she will, sorry.
That's fine.
Let's pop Lizzie back in a frame she'd be much more comfortable with.
Thank you.
And then you can give us a little twirl there, Lizzie.